Right, we're in the laboratory upstairs over the garage, and just finished wiring up the last bits of pieces to the alarm, voice alarm, I guess. What it is basically is an MP3 player bolted to the back of a speaker with the MP3 players from an alarm system, I guess, and it's a 50-watt amplifier that will play up to 6 tracks of MP3 or WAV files that are downloaded onto the device. You can also use a CF card for storage, so if you really want to play long music or ice cream truck type of sounds, I guess you could do that. But this is going into the race car, just bolting it under the dash facing towards the driver, with the hopes that it'll be yet one more thing to cause me to look at gauges or stop driving when I've lost oil pressure or overheated or something. The 50 watt makes it really loud. I don't think there'll be a problem with uncorked and helmet on by a long shot. You'll hear it when it's face down on the lowest volume setting, and it's really loud. The speaker is a E.F. Johnson communication speaker from like an old mobile radio. They're on eBay, $20-30, brand new. They're pretty capable. I think this one says 30 watts on the stamped on the back of the speaker. It's about 5 inches. Anyways, let's take a closer look. The bracket on it is adjustable, and that bolts to wherever you want, and it swivels, and there's serrations on the side to keep it locked down. And I might put a wire on there just to make sure that if it does loosen, that it can't fly off and clock you in the head or something, which would be probably a bad thing while driving. The MP3 amplifier is all in this little aluminum case. It was $49. I think they have this available. A little lower power version, I think like a 15-watt version, which probably would be fine for about $29 without the case if you want to embed it into something. Came with all the connectors. The speaker output wire just goes right into the speaker, power, and then the 6 pins that are across the top are to trigger individual MP3 tracks. Each MP3 track can be triggered continuously, repeat, interruptible, depending on how you set up the files when you put them in. There's a little like a text file that you also upload that gives the MP3 player the instructions what to do once that pin's been triggered. I just have them single file and single file, if I could get that out. So they'll play the one file one time, and that's it. There's ones where you can have it where as long as it's held down, it'll play, and repeat modes and different interrupt modes and screwy things like that. Again, I think this was an alarm module that you would record your warnings or whatever, and then when the alarm triggers, it could play an appropriate sound over the speaker systems. In any case, let's continue looking at. It's a pretty small thing. It's like about that pack of cigarettes for those old school people that still know what cigarettes are instead of vape boxes, I guess. I have no idea. The back side of it has the volume control, and I said it's pretty low right now. The audio jack, I guess, for a headphone jack, maybe also out, but I don't know if I would use that. It seems like it could be a vibration issue where it could come out or break off pretty easily, accidentally hitting it. Programming's by the micro USB port, and that plugs right into your computer. It shows up as a flash drive, and you drop files on with the extensions 001.mp3 or 001.wav, and then it'll go through, and the idea is it's supposed to map each number to a pin, but it doesn't actually work that way. It maps it to which file you put on the drive first. So that's just a heads up. It's not per the spec of the made in China directions, but overall pretty good little unit. Comes in a nice case. It seems pretty sturdy. I pulled the board out to look at it, and it's well made. The last thing I can show you is that if you did want to play longer tracks or whatever, you could do a micro SD card, and I forget how much it said it could take, but there's controls for doing like next and previous. So if you really wanted to use it as an ice cream truck music box, you could do something like that, but not sure that there's much need for that anymore. Again, pretty robust cases, thick, heavy plastic, and that's the overview of it. Let's see if we can trigger it and get it working. while holding a phone while I'm trying to do some jumpers. The way that it works is the ground, which is this one right here, the second one, that's a ground. You have to ground any one of these pins and that will trigger it. So we're going to just kind of go through the list. The first one is a blow-off valve sound because, I don't know, had to fill up some of the spaces, so I figured I'd use that. It was my old email notification at work. The second one is, I think, low oil pressure, high temperature, check gauges general. There's a long bell sound alarm that's, I think, 30 seconds and then stops. And the last one is, I think, just some tones from the old Kim Possible soundtrack. Anyways, probably won't use more than one of them. Probably just low oil pressure, maybe temperature. But what you would do is basically hook up a grounding sender gauge. So the low oil pressure, when it falls below 15 pounds, would close a switch to ground, and that would trigger this device. You can't put voltage into these. It needs to be grounded. So we'll try the first one and see if I can do this one-handed and maybe get lucky and not short things out. So that's basically the blow-off valve. So the next one is, and the alarm sound was stolen off a YouTube video from the 747 fire alarm, which I always liked from old movies, and hopefully you'll recognize it. It's kind of annoying if you have to listen to it during an alarm situation, but the idea is get your attention, and it's not some, beepy thing. The other thing is the voices that are on here are from the voice synthesizer on Microsoft Windows. So I wanted something kind of annoying and loud soundings, and so instead of trying to find somebody to do some voiceover, I just used the voice synthesizer and made it sound annoying. So here it goes.
Warning, low oil pressure. Warning, high engine temperature. Warning, check gauges.
That one just plays for like 30 seconds or whatever it is and stops. And then, let's see. And that was the Kim Possible. And that's the 6. You program whatever you want into it. It doesn't matter. It could be, this could be a good Halloween thing if you don't want to hook up to your doorbell or something. But like I said, it's face down into some foam. It's pretty loud, even just pointing it up. And when I turn it midway before it starts just distorting the speaker, it is crazy loud. So I think the speaker is really good and capable because it's for mobile communications like police radios and that thing. So it's just short of a bullhorn type of speaker. But that's the project. Hopefully I can squeeze it in the car, giving up a couple of pounds of weight for saving a motor and me paying attention. I'll put up all the pictures and details on gtsparkplugs.com. I'll put a link in the video, and that's about it. There's the another wacky project from the garage here at my house. Have a great day and get those darn projects done.